I made a foolish career decision when I was still a young professional. I was newly married at that time, and my wife and I had modest needs. I resigned from a good job to join a new company set up by someone I trusted. I was promised a salary much higher than I was receiving at that time. So I jumped and plunged into my new job, trusting that it was a good move for my family. Unfortunately, this new company lacked the capital to sustain itself. And pretty soon, our salaries were held up. And I was forced to work with no assurance that my salary would ever be paid. We got to the point when all I had in my wallet was 100 pesos. We had absolutely no food in the fridge and no idea what tomorrow would bring. I remember that Nico and I prayed that time, and we just thanked God for His provision. Then, lo and behold, my father-in-law just happened to pass by and gave us a whole container of chicken eggs. Those were the most delicious chicken eggs I've ever tasted in my life. God is a God who provides. This is the confident assurance of the Apostle Paul about God in his letter to the Philippians. And my God will supply every need of yours according to His riches in glory in Christ Jesus. The Apostle Paul is saying that our God is a God who provides. When our cup is empty, He will fill it to the brim. When we are in need, God will make a way to fill that need. We find that very hard to believe most of the time. We know that we go through times in our lives when we were lacking, when we would run out of money, and we didn't have anything on the table to feed our families. There were times in our lives when we didn't have a job, we didn't have money to pay the power bill, to provide the school allowances of our kids, to pay the mortgage. There were times when business was so bad that we didn't know if we can still keep the business. Or there were times when our business actually went bankrupt and we lost everything we owned. But we have experienced as well that at the point when we had absolutely nothing, we learned to call out to the Lord. And those were the times when we saw most clearly the hand of God moving to provide for our needs. In olden times, God made manna available to His people. At a later time, He sent ravens to feed His prophet. He even allowed the family to not run out of flour and oil to last them through a period of drought. In our present time, God would allow loved ones, family members, even strangers, to bless us with food or gifts of cash, just when we most need it. God would open up the heart of someone to lend us some money with no expectations of immediate payback. God would bring short-term jobs to come our way, to tide us over for a few days. God has many ways of providing for His children. And this is a very reassuring truth. And that is when we put our trust in God, if we live according to His will, then God will take care of our needs. God created everything in the world. He owns everything in the world. All the wealth and the riches of the world are His. And according to God's riches, God supplies our needs. As we learn to entrust all our needs to God, being fully assured that God will keep us amply supplied, flowing out of the riches of His glory, always keep in mind, faith matters too.